to stay out of the darkness, but this one is a really dark film, so it's going to be hard to do so. So, what does IMDb say about this one? In the old Stone Age, a desperate gang of early humans band together in search of a new land. But when they suspect a malevolent, mystical being is hunting them down, the clan are forced to confront a danger they never envisioned. All right. Uh, Going back to the Stone Age with this one, interesting. Uh, New film. I don't remember if it would hit theaters. I think it might have. But if not, it's been online for a little bit now, and but fairly new. I know that it has also been at some film festivals and so forth. So some people have already seen it out there, but I'll try not to spoil anything. Not that I think I can. Yeah, it's one of these movies. Yeah. Um, some strangeness happenings, and you know that when I mention the word strange, if you follow me, that's not always a good thing, and I'm going to say it's probably not a good thing here. Um, but obviously, going back to the Stone Age and going way back in time here is definitely interesting, and I'm all for horror in different time periods than we typically see. Obviously, the present, and in the last couple of decades, we see most of our horror films. So when you try to go outside of that box, whether it's out into the future, which doesn't always work, maybe works more for sci-fi than horror. But maybe when you come up with either a different kind of place, or maybe go a little bit further back, sometimes that can be interesting. So I'm all for this as far as going back to the Stone Age and going back way in time, because gives us a different atmosphere and so forth, and takes us out of our element and takes us into a new world. So definitely that's of interest, and I think that's one of the things that kind of for the people that did see it or were interested in this movie, obviously is at the forefront here, is to kind of go into this different time, to see what they present here. But then, as far as the story, then it comes there's a little bit of similarities there with some of the other stuff that we've seen, once we kind of dive a little bit into the horror here. But the basics of it, and I'm not even sure I can explain all that great, but you obviously have a group, a small tribe or a group of people here, who, back in the Stone Age, so you can imagine, there's probably nothing else to do but to survive and figure out how to survive, and you don't have a lot to survive with. So that's basically what they're doing here. This is all about survival, and survival in many a different way. Survival just to live, survival to eat, survival not to get eaten by anything out there in the world. And survival to health wise and so forth, from that. But then to add on top of it, a different element, and here comes the horror of it, of some evil that's out there hunting, that eventually ends up hunting them. Um, and that's the kind of horror we've kind of seen in a lot of our horror movies. Whether it's a ghost or an evil presence, or something that's unexplainable, but that's coming after people. So this group is going to go through that as well, and you're going to have different characters here, and some of them are probably going to believe a little bit more in this, whatever this evil is that's hunting them, or not. Some are going to maybe believe in the superstition of it, and some are not, and some are going to maybe look to see that maybe it is just something that's happening, and different explanations for whatever reason it is. Um, Probably one of the things that's a little bit frustrating with this movie is the fact that, while the group is talking to each other, they're talking in some other language, so you're just kind of lost in what is kind of truly being said or not. I don't know if I had my settings wrong. I don't know if I was supposed to have captions and didn't. I don't know if there were. I didn't, whatever. So, I actually kind of stopped and was like, what are they speaking, and why can't I understand anything? And whatever. So, if you guys saw it with captions and you got a better explanation of what was going on there, I applaud you. For whatever reason, either there was none or that's just the way the film was. I kind of looked at some reviews and I know that the language they were speaking is not real. I guess it was made up of I forgot what it was made based on. But what they were saying is not a usual language that any of us would understand. So that was at least frustrating. At least frustrating for me is to not really know what the hell is going on. Credit them for and credit the actors for apparently pulling off this strange made up language and whatever the hell they were saying and how true they had to be to saying it. But yeah, I had no idea what's going on besides for a group of people here way back in time that something is haunting them and they're trying to survive it. That's kind of why I say I don't even know if I can explain it that well. But you kind of just, or at least how I watched it is you just kind of have to watch the characters and kind of keep your eye on them and who they are and kind of how they're reacting to everything to kind of get a gist of what they're believing, what they're not, what is happening here. Obviously, as things get worse and worse, you're going to kind of see them kind of turn their backs on each other. Maybe some are going to be more willing to help the others. Some are going to want to turn their backs on the other. Some of them are obviously more scared of what's going on than others. Obviously, some don't believe. So you're kind of getting a whole different mixture of what is happening here within this group. And, they're not in a great place. They're obviously, it's a Stone Age. They're obviously struggling here. There's not a place, really great places for them to go to begin with. You can kind of see they're kind of in that transition where, maybe they're without this haunting that's going on, they're still looking for their place. They're looking for a place to survive, a place to be, and so forth. So this mysterious whatever that's going on is just not helping the situation. So obviously it's going to get worse for them as the movie goes on. Like I said, some of them will live, some of them might not. And it's just, as they try to get out of the darkness, it is just going to get darker as it goes. With that, some of the scenes were kind of dark. It was hard to tell what was going on, especially when the really bad stuff was going on. So, I kind of dislike when that happens. I want to see stuff. I don't remember how much of they show of whatever is here. Like I said, there was that whole strangeness thing, and I was kind of thrown off by the language thing. So, my attention, becomes thin as the movie kind of rolls on, to be honest with you guys. So I don't really remember if they really showed us the evil or not. That I don't remember. It does have a point in where it goes and so forth. Obviously, they're obviously showing you their struggles and blah, blah, and showing you life. But I think there's a statement about life and so forth in here with the revelation of what is kind of going on here. But, I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of threw me off here. So, I would say I kind of had hope and definitely was interested because of the time period and so forth. But just as the more this kind of went on, the more maybe I wasn't as much into it as I'd hoped to be. It was only an hour and a half. I don't know. Maybe it felt a little bit longer to me. But so that's not too bad. But I don't know. I maybe since it was a Stone Age, maybe I wanted dinosaurs to appear and so forth, or some other weird creature of that time period or whatever. I don't know when the dinosaurs died or not. The dinosaurs are probably well dead by then. But whatever, like something else to kind of happen here. But I guess credit them for kind of putting it in the Stone Age and kind of making a ghost kind of story, maybe. It's not really a ghost, but kind of in that direction, a mysterious thing. I credit the actors for pulling off a language that is out of nowhere and kind of being in this kind of crazy atmosphere that they kind of create. Obviously those are things that the movie has going for it. Being in the Stone Age, creating this atmosphere, being dark, and and doing these kind of things. But at the end of the day, where it kind of ends and where it goes, I don't know. It may work for some. I'm not gonna say it totally worked for me. Not too bad on IMDb here, 5.7 out of 10. Um, and about almost 2,500 I guess ratings or whatever you want to call it here. So not terrible, not hated, uh, but I don't know. It was just, I'm gonna put it in the strange vote and go with that. I don't know. It's almost where if I thought I would get more out of it, but watching it again, I would, but I don't know that I want to. And maybe if I paid attention to certain things a little bit more, maybe it would make a little bit more sense to me. But I don't know. I don't think I want to. So yeah, to me, this one is still going to be a little bit in the dark, and I don't know. So for me, I'm giving it two pools of blood. It just, I don't know, it was just weird for me, and like I said, I'm not going to say my expectations were huge for it, but I definitely had some interest, again, because of the time period, but just, it was just weird as this kind of went on. So that's two pools of blood out of five. Credit them for some things, but overall, it just wasn't for me. Um, and I'm just trying to think of some of the other people's reviews that I saw, if they liked it or not. I don't remember. Like I said, this has been out on demand for a little bit now, so I know some other people have already posted reviews for this. So I don't know. Anyway, horrorstory.blogspot.com is where you can find all my reviews, written or video. Obviously, have to go back a little bit for the written ones. Promise to do a written one eventually, again, at some point, at some time, for something important, maybe. But if not, here on YouTube, like, subscribe to the channel if you're just interested in the video reviews, like everybody wants you to do. But if not, no worries. It is truly okay. I thank you for any time you spent here on the channel, doing anything. You're here, and much appreciated for being here. Twitter, Facebook information below as well. Reach out to me, follow if you want to there. If not, no worries, it's okay. It's fine. But if you want to talk about horror, this movie, other movies, maybe you understood this movie better than I did, feel free to throw that in the comment section as well. And yeah, I don't have much more else to say about Out of the Darkness. I'm going to crawl back into the darkness for a little bit now. And I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.